We want to give you some basic information about how the past is connected to the present and the present is connected to the future. Today is a continuation of yesterday and tomorrow is a continuation of today. It's all the same thing. But these next clips, hopefully, you'll put your thinking cap on and you'll see the similarities between what's happening today and what happened yesterday. To give you a basic understanding of how you cannot forget yesterday. Let me give you a silly little example. If someone comes to your front door and you open the door and they slap the hell out of you and then they walk away, you close the door and then wake up tomorrow, forget all about yesterday, that same person comes to the door again, you open the door, they slap the hell out of you again. Then the next day, you forget all about yesterday. They come to the door again and slap the hell out of you again. Eventually, you're going to have to remember what happened yesterday so you can know how to deal with that person today and how to prepare yourself for tomorrow. But we're going to start it off with the Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammed and let him remind you why you can't ignore yesterday. And then we're going to follow it up with a few news clips so that you can think about the similarities in what's happening today and what happened yesterday.
What he did to the Indians, he sold the Indians wagon loads of rifles and weapons and guns and ammunition. He sold them wagon loads of firewater and liquor and whiskey. And though the pipe was a sacred symbol, a religious symbol, he took the pipe and perverted its use and gave him some kind of drug in the pipe. He had the Indian on the pipe. Yeah, the Indian was on that thing now. He had the Indian on the pipe. And then when they got high off of them pipes and that firewater, they had all the weapons and ammunition they needed, and the Indians turned on each other. It wasn't black on black crime. I guess the sociologists would call it red on red crime. And the Indians killing each other. Remember that. Who was it that sold the Indians the guns? Who sold them the weapons, the ammunition? Who gave them the dope? Who gave them the firewater?
The most brutal of these gangs is a group of about 1,000 fighters known as the West Side Boys.
The West Side Boys, drugs and alcohol, that's how they fueled their war.
They were rounding up local women, there's little doubt that sex and drugs featured quite prominently in their behaviour and activities. So they were a dangerous group of people simply because they were totally unpredictable.
If that wasn't bad enough, they had this belief that voodoo would protect them to such an extent it would make them bulletproof.
One man who served nearly 2 years with the West Side Boys is 26-year-old Black Zorro. He was recruited by the rebels, aged just 14, and rose to become a trusted junior officer.
Well, the smoke, the weed.
Well, we used to smoke plenty of marijuana. And as for drink, we had lots of homemade strong alcohol called hard wine. Cocaine was sometimes available, but heroin was all over the place. If you went to the jungle at that time, you would find everybody high on heroin. I was often high all day. The drugs made me feel strong and ready for battle. As soon as I took them, I was ready for any fight.
This is the world center of the trade in illegal blood diamonds.
Blood diamonds have become an extraordinarily important factor in the violence which was going on.
There are daily raids on undefended rural villages. The rebels often take all the children away, turning them into child soldiers. Those left behind were often punished by amputation.
They would chop arms off short sleeve or long sleeve style. So short sleeve was above the elbow, long sleeve was below the elbow. The aim of doing so was to spread terror across the country in some strange way to prove their power.
Whenever we look at things like these amputations, we see how horrific it is. And it is horrific. But because we have this attitude of, let the past be in the past, we don't understand that all we got to do is look back at King Leopold, and you'll see this. So as you look at this picture, then you're going to see that this is something that was introduced to Africa. This is a practice that was introduced to Africa by the goddamn white man. But you don't want to connect the past to the present. But you have to broaden your perspective on things. Again, I always tell you, think about why you think the way you think. Who taught you to think that way? And who benefits the most from your thinking the way you think? You are standing in the past, the present, and the future simultaneously. If you don't learn from the past, you'll be doomed to repeat it over and over again.